Have you ever wondered about the UK's most ambitious rail project, the HS2? In today's video, we're diving into the exciting yet controversial world of HS2, exploring its journey from inception to its current status. Whether you're interested in how it'll revolutionize travel or the debates surrounding its costs and impacts, we've got all the details right here. Let's get started. HS2 High Speed 2 is a significant infrastructure project in the United Kingdom designed to improve railway connections between major cities, starting with London, and originally planned to extend to Manchester and Leeds. Since its inception, the project has undergone numerous changes, faced budgetary constraints, and sparked political and social debate. This article will explore the timeline of HS2, the changes to its original scope, cost estimates, and the controversies surrounding it. Starting year at estimates. HS2 was first introduced in 2009 under the government of Prime Minister Gordon Brown, following a review of the country's existing rail capacity and infrastructure. The project was positioned as a solution to the growing strain on the UK's existing rail networks, which were struggling to accommodate increasing passenger and freight demand. The project was to deliver faster journey times, increased capacity, and economic regeneration across the north of England and the Midlands. The original plans were ambitious. Phase 1 of HS2 would connect London to Birmingham, while Phase 2 was intended to split into two legs, one heading to Manchester and the other toward Leeds, creating a high-speed rail network that would link major cities across the UK. The initial estimate of the project's cost was around £32.7 billion, with completion projected by the early 2030s. End date and phases. Construction for HS2 officially began in 2020 after years of planning, delays, and political debates. The project was divided into multiple phases to manage costs and timelines effectively. Phase 1, connecting London to Birmingham, is currently in progress, with the expected completion date now being between 2029 and 2033, delayed from the original estimates due to a variety of issues, including funding constraints and the COVID-19 pandemic. Phase 2, which was intended to extend the network to Manchester and Leeds, has since been scaled back due to rising costs. The government has indicated that only the western leg, connecting Birmingham to Manchester, will proceed. The eastern leg, which was to go to Leeds, has been cancelled. The shift from London to Manchester to London to Birmingham. One of the most significant changes to HS2 has been the reduction in its original scope. When the project was first announced, the vision was to create a high-speed rail network that would significantly reduce travel times between London, Birmingham, Manchester, and Leeds. The idea was to bridge the north-south divide and boost the economies of cities in the Midlands and north of England, areas that had been economically lagging behind London. However, by 2023, the government decided to scale back the project, focusing on completing only the London to Birmingham stretch. Rising costs, delays, and public opposition meant that the extension to Manchester and Leeds became increasingly unfeasible. The government confirmed that the eastern leg to Leeds would be scrapped, leaving only the western leg to Manchester, potentially to be completed in the future, depending on the availability of funds. As a result, the current HS2 project only guarantees a high-speed connection between London and Birmingham. This decision has been met with disappointment in the north, where many hoped that HS2 would provide much-needed economic stimulus and better transport connections. Journey time from London to Birmingham. Despite the scaling back of the project, the London to Birmingham section of HS2 is set to deliver significant improvements in travel time. Currently, the journey between these two cities by train takes approximately 1 hour and 21 minutes on average. Once HS2 is operational, it is expected to reduce the travel time to around 52 minutes, shaving almost half an hour off the journey. This time saving is considered one of the primary benefits of the project, making business and leisure travel between these two major cities much more efficient. Old estimated costs versus new costs. The costs of HS2 have been one of the most contentious aspects of the project. When HS2 was first proposed, the estimated cost of the entire project was £32.7 billion. However, as time went on, This figure ballooned significantly. In 2013, the cost estimate was revised to £56 billion, and by 2019, the official cost estimate had soared to between £72 billion and £98 billion. The increase in cost was attributed to various factors, including the complexity of the project, land acquisition costs, environmental considerations, and the price of new technology. Additionally, inflation and delays in construction further contributed to the rising costs. By 2020, the government conducted a review of the project, chaired by Doug Okervee, to assess whether HS2 was still feasible given the escalating expenses. The Okervee review concluded that while the project's benefits still outweighed its costs, substantial cuts and revisions would be necessary to make it viable. Consequently, the decision was made to scrap the eastern leg to Leeds, with the new cost estimate for the remaining project being around £106 billion. This figure reflects the most recent budget for the HS2 project as of 2023. Political and social controversy. HS2 has been surrounded by political and social controversy since its inception. The project's supporters argue that it will revolutionize the UK's transport infrastructure, reduce travel times, and boost economic growth in the Midlands and the North. They contend that HS2 will help close the North-South divide by bringing more jobs and investment to regions outside of London. Additionally, proponents argue that HS2 will help reduce carbon emissions by shifting more passengers from cars and planes to trains, thus contributing to the UK's efforts to tackle climate change. However, the project has faced significant opposition, both from politicians and the public. One of the most prominent arguments against HS2 is the cost. Critics argue that the project's ever-increasing budget is an unnecessary drain on public funds, especially at a time when the country is dealing with economic challenges such as austerity measures, the aftermath of Brexit, and the COVID-19 pandemic. Environmental concerns have also been raised. HS2 requires the acquisition of large amounts of land, and critics argue that the construction of the rail line will result in the destruction of natural habitats, ancient woodlands, and biodiversity. Despite promises of replanting and mitigation efforts, many environmental groups argue that the damage caused by HS2 will be irreparable. Socially, communities along the HS2 route have expressed frustration and anger over the impact the project will have on their homes and local environments. Many homeowners have faced compulsory purchase orders, forcing them to sell their properties to make way for the rail line. In addition to losing homes, residents in affected areas are concerned about the long-term disruption caused by construction and the permanent changes to their communities. There has also been political controversy. Some Conservative MPs, particularly those representing constituencies in the south and rural areas, have opposed HS2 due to its impact on their communities and the belief that the project primarily benefits London rather than the rest of the country. Additionally, opposition parties like the Liberal Democrats and the Green Party have called for the project to be reviewed or cancelled altogether, citing concerns over cost and environmental damage. Despite these challenges, the government has remained committed to completing the London to Birmingham section of HS2, arguing that it is essential for modernizing the UK's transport infrastructure and supporting the economy in the long term. Thanks for watching. We hope this video gave you a clearer insight into the HS2 project and what it means for the future of transport in the UK. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more informative updates. Remember, high-speed change is on the horizon.